Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, November 12th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. You know you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And this week, don't forget to check out this coming Tuesday, the best full gear matches in this Friday, new episode of Flashback Friday. But for now, let's get into the news. AEW has signed independent star Megan Bayne. This actually happened a couple months ago. The 25-year-old is an emerging talent in the wrestling business. She would have fit perfectly on Dark and Dark Elevation, but that is no longer there, so they sent her to Japan and to the Tokyo Joshi Pro to get better, to hone her craft, and we will be seeing Megan Bayne pretty soon. AEW has partnered with Sega. That is their latest sponsored partnership. It will be going down for the street fight this week between the Don Callis family and I guess the Golden something. I don't know what Jericho and Omega are calling themselves. NXT, if you haven't heard, will be moving to the CW starting in 2024, October 2024 to be exact, on a 5-year deal, and they will definitely be bringing in more money and more viewership. This coincides with SmackDown moving to USA on Fridays. NWA talent, they are growing really frustrated with Billy Corgan's leadership after he could not get the CW deal done. And the things may change, but they're just looking for other places, and he needs to start to right the ship. AEW has unveiled another new signing. That will be Japanese superstar, but she's not Japanese, Mariah May. She was introduced in a backstage segment with RJ City as Tony Storm's #1 fan. Mariah May has been slowly making a name for herself in the wrestling industry, and she is now all elite. Her contract was signed. What was her contract signed? Her contract was signed not too long ago, but this was definitely a long time in the making. She would definitely be a boon to the AEW women's roster. Raw may have found a new home. Possibly, there's a strong chance that Raw could be moving to FX starting next year when SmackDown moves over to USA. And in some sad news, the Bunny is no longer with AEW. I was always a fan of Bunny. She was actually their highest ratings getter. Look it up. She's no longer with the company, but Butcher and Blade are still there. We will see what's next for the Bunny. Hopefully, maybe, possibly, she can make her way back to TNA and go and get Rosemary from the Undead Realm. Tony Khan stated that the reason he did not start talks with the CW for Ring of Honor, which would have been really good. He wants to get the TV rights and TV deals done for AEW first before anything else moves forward with Ring of Honor. I would have loved Ring of Honor on the CW. It would have definitely been a really good big get for them. And NXT may not be the only company working on the CW. Remember we just talked about, I just discussed the NWA losing that deal. They could actually potentially end up on the CW streaming platform. I think that's something that AEW should do. Ring of Honor getting them with Max. They have to sign this deal with Max to get their streaming rights too. But yes, the NWA may still be heading to the CW, just not on live television. AEW has announced, and Tony Khan has announced, the Continental Classic. I don't know why it's called Continental, but essentially this is AEW's version of the G1. 12 wrestlers will compete in a round-robin tournament starting November 22nd, with the finals taking place on December 27th in Orlando. We don't know what the winner gets, but the first entrant in the tournament is none other than Bryan Danielson. On the injury side of things, R-Truth has given us an update on his injury, and remember he suffered his injury a while back, had surgery back on November 8th, and he just said, he will be back. Mercedes Moné has said she will be good to go starting in early 2024. She's recovering well, and we will see what's next for her. I'm kind of hoping we can get the Mercedes Moné Julia Dream match. Also missing from Raw has been Apollo Crews. He has been injured but he's officially back. He was out for a couple of months. We got an update on Kyle O'Reilly, who's now starting to work out, healing up from that neck injury. His legs are sore because he's been working out too much, but he's also too sore to move, so that's good. Ricochet is in concussion protocol. He looks like he suffered a concussion from Raw last week, so he will be out for the time being. And Kayla Braxton is SmackDown because she was sick on the rating side of things. Raw, the 11/6 episode, pulled in 1.5 million views with a 0.47 and the 18-49 demo. Dynamite pulled in 804,000 views with a 0.27 and the 18-49 demo. And SmackDown pulled into a little over 2 million views with a 0.52 and the 18-49 demo. That is the news, and we shall be right back. All right, so let's get into a week in review for Monday Night Raw. We got our Crown Jewel Fallout show. Let's get to fits. Every show this week was kind of just good, but Seth celebrates in the ring after retaining against Drew McIntyre, and essentially he offers Sami Zayn a title shot. He calls Sami Zayn out, and Sami says that he wants to face Seth when Seth's not compromised, i.e. with the Judgment Day, or he's not with the Judgment Day, you know what I mean, and at 100%, but Seth said, just take the title shot, so we get the title shot. The match later in the evening, the Judgment Day defeated the New Day. Drew McIntyre arrived and then left after he was asked a question. Shinsuke defeated Akira Tozawa and Otis Adep Shinsuke. Got to protect his boy in the Alpha Academy. We had a Natalya hype package. The Miz won a fatal 4-way to earn an Intercontinental Championship match. Ivar attacked him after the match. This was to save face because it was supposed to be a double win with both Ivar and The Miz winning to set up another match for this week, but this is the match where Ricochet got concussion and accidentally kicked out. The Creed brothers defeated DIY. Jay and Sami are still cool. Becky and Nia had some words backstage, so we might be doing this feud a little bit again. Chelsea, Piper, Zoe, and Shayna all say they'll win the number contenders battle royal, and then when the battle royal starts, Zaya knocked out Becky with the kick before the battle royal started, and now Becky's out of the match, and Zaya's not allowed to wrestle the match. I like this. I like we're getting this from Zaya Lee finally pushing her. But ultimately, Zoe Stark won the battle royal, and she confronted Rhea Ripley backstage. She will be taking Rhea Ripley on for the Women's World Championship at Survivor Series. And in the main event, Seth Rollins retained the World Heavyweight Championship against Sami Zayn. After the match, there was a giant brawl that broke out between the Judgment Day, Cody, Jay, Sami, and Seth. And Adam Pearce said, y'all want to play games? And he said, we're going to play games. War games. So it will be the Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Jay Uso. I can see one more member being added to each team. Maybe Drew for the Judgment Day, and I don't know who would be on the face side. That'd be really, really interesting to see. Over on Dynamite, the push to Full Gear continues. MJF started the show saying that Jay White won't pin him again after Jay White pinned him in the tag team match last week, and he wants to know, MJF wants to know if Dan Garcia is going to be an entertainer or a wrestler for their match of the Roderick Strong. Came out with the Kingdom, and MJF told Roddy he still won't be his partner. And then we got to our opening contest with MJF submitting Daniel Garcia, retaining the World Heavyweight Championship, the AEW World Championship. Angela Parker and Matt Menard stopped Daniel Garcia from shaking MJF's hand after the match. Darby Allin and Sting defeated the Outrunners, and Sting is still undefeated in AEW. Hikaru Shida and Tony Storm had a sit-down interview. This was in black and white, and Shida was like, what is going on? Ultimately, Storm blames Shida for all of this, her downward spiral, and taking the championship away from her. Swerve defeated Penta in a really good match. Heyman attacked Swerve after the match and put him through a table off the stage. Jay White says he's better than MJF. Jericho and Omega will face the Young Bucks at Full Gear, with the Bucks title shot being on the line, and Jericho and Omega's team being on the line. Ultimately, the Bucks had an issue with Kenny teaming with Jericho and not having their back, and Kenny really didn't say anything during this exchange. Samoa Joe defeated Keith Lee, retaining the Ring of Honor Television Championship, and then he vacated the championship because he wants the AEW World Championship. Now, I get it. I don't like it because you made the TV championship just feel meaningless. Remember when Keith Lee was the dual champion NXT? He just relinquished the North American Championship. This was just stupid. So ultimately, Samoa Joe better win the World Championship. Or this was all for nothing. The Guns defeated the Bollywood Boys, and they say they're coming for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. Orange Cassidy says he has to beat Jon Moxley. Moxley rebukes Casey, says you're not setting a good example, and he's going to beat him. Once again, Julia Hart defeated the returning Red Velvet. Julia kept her submission on Red Velvet after the match until Sky Blue came out to confront her face to face, and then Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale both came out to separate them. So this is not done. RJ said he introduced AEW's newest signing, Mariah May, who was Tony Storm's biggest fan. And RJ says he will introduce her to Tony next week. And in the main event, Jay White defeated Mark Briscoe. This was a fun match. MJF attacked after the match, and once again, Jay White got away with the championship. I don't know why AEW doesn't just make him give it back. And then MJF cut a really impassioned promo. And then we cut to the back where the Devil and his crew attacked the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, and they put Anthony Bowens through a glass window. MJF runs to the back and to check on him. Things are not going well, and Joe Robson's like, yo, you're running out of friends. Over on Impact, we got our rebrand. TNA push continued. Tasha still defeated Deonna Purrazzo. These tag team partners ended up fighting. This got really testy and chippy, so I wonder what's going to happen with this team. Santino booked a match between ABC and versus Kenny King and Sheldon Jean. Crazy Steve defeated Tommy Dreamer by DQ after Tommy stabbed Crazy Steve with a fork. This was for the Digital Media Championship. Brian Myers defeated Joe Hendry, which was shocking. I figured Joe Hendry would be on a roll, but looks like we're starting a new storyline of feud between Myers and Hendry. Will Ospreay says no one is better than him. Will Ospreay really sign with TNA when his contract is up? I mean, I'm expecting him to sign with AEW, but I digress. Eric Young defeated Eddie Edwards. Alicia Edwards interfered a lot in this match. Moose questions Brian Myers about loyalty. Dirty Dango and Oleg Prudas had won a squash match. Jordan Grace and Kylan King square up in front of Bully Ray. The Rascals introduce Myron Reed as part of the group now, and Alex Shelley retained the World Championship against Jonathan Gresham. Over on SmackDown, this is all about Damage Control, nothing else. Kevin Owens was on commentary for the whole night as Corey Graves is out, as Carmella had her baby. Carlito says Ray should blame Santos for the U.S. title loss because Santos was being careless and reckless, leaving the brass knuckles at ringside. Lashley defeated Carlito, and the Santino turned on Ray. Santos turned on Ray and started attacking him. So we got to figure out what's going on with the LWO. Bayley comes out and she's like, okay, what's going on? She calls out Kyrie. She calls out EO and Kyrie and Dakota. And Bayley's like, listen, I had a plan. And EO responds with, I had a plan as well, which was Kyrie. And Bayley says, yo, well, let some Kyrie's here. This is what happened. Remember, Bayley's the one that took out Kyrie. Bayley says she forgives her. And Dakota Kai's like, this is the group, this is the family, and they hug. And Bayley's reluctant. Bayley's gonna get got. She's gonna get knocked out of Damage Control. I already see it coming. And Kyrie says she forgives Bayley. Dragon Lee defeated Cedric Alexander. LA Knight and Grayson Waller squabble on the mic, and then LA Knight defeated Grayson Waller. KO got the better of Waller and Fury. And in the main event, the 6-woman tag ended in a no contest as Asuka turned on her partners and ended up joining Damage Control, and they took out everybody. SmackDown ends with Asuka, Kyrie, Io, Bayley, and Dakota Kai standing tall as the new Damage Control. Bayley's gonna get kicked out, and it's just gonna end up being the Joshis and Dakota. And you gotta remember, Kyrie and Asuka are really good friends. They were tag team partners. Io and Asuka are really good friends. They were tag team partners. And Io and Kyrie are really good friends, and they were tag team partners. And why would Bianca trust Asuka? I just know she did it to herself. But that's Damage Control. Looks like we got our women's War Games match. Shotzi came up to try to help, but she failed. So it looks like we're going to have Bayley, Asuka, Io, and Kairi versus Bayley, Shayna, Bianca, Charlotte, Shotzi, one more person, which I think will end up being, for some odd reason, Becky Lynch. Over on Rampage, Ricky Starks to be the Preston Vance. Roos and Dralistico made the save. Jericho hypes his DDT match against Takeshita. Don Callis is paying for Brian Cage's services to be part of the street fight. Remember, this is supposed to be Sammy Guevara, but he's still out with his concussion. Red Velvet defeated Ruby Soho. This got a little sloppy in the end, but it's good to get Red Velvet some time. It looks like she's a part of this TBS Championship feud as well. And Ruby was getting flowers delivered in the middle of her match, which caused her to be distracted. The Kingdom won a Rampage squash. Neck strong. Roddy got out the chair, hit the end of Heartache, and fell back down. We have more flirting going on between Ruby Soho and Angelo Parker. And FTR defeated Vikingo and Komander. Over on Collision, Andrade defeated Daniel Garcia, and he celebrated his win with CJ Perry, and Miro was looking backstage with a smile on his face. Is this going to lead to Andrade versus Miro? I'm all for it. Nick Wayne defeated Dalton Castle. Hangman says he will destroy Swerve. LFI defeated the Workhorsemen. The House of Black are coming for the tag team and TBS championship. It was announced that we have 2 eliminator matches leading to a triple threat match against featuring Chris Statlander for the TBS championship, with the first one being Willow versus Julia Hart taking place in Collision, and Red Velvet versus Sky Blue taking place on Dynamite. Chris wants Willow to win. Roderick Strong defeated Darius Martin. Tony Khan alongside Bryan Danielson announced the Continental Classic, which again is the I guess AEW's version of the G1. Julia Hart defeated Willow Nightingale to advance to the triple threat match at Full Gear. And Ricky Starks and Big Bill welcomes all challengers for the tag team championship. Looks like we're going to get ourselves a nice little fatal 4-way, with it being, I believe, Ricky and Big Bill versus LFI versus FTR versus the House of Black. Powerhouse Hobbs won a squash, and Paul White was on commentary, so he confronts Paul White on commentary. Paul White was like, yo, Lee, do something. In the main event, Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland defeated Lance Archer and The Righteous. I'm fine with the Faces winning. I didn't want them to defeat Archer and The Righteous after Archer and The Righteous just now came together. You got to do better booking. Our matches of the week from Monday Night Raw, we have Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship. These two know each other very, very, very well from the time on the indie, so it was bound to be a good match. From Dynamite, Swerve Strickland versus Penta El Zero Miedo. These dudes know each other as well from their time in Lucha Underground. Swerve is just absolutely amazing. Also from Dynamite, Jay White versus Mark Briscoe. From Impact, Alex Shelley defending the Impact World Championship against Jonathan Gresham. From the New Japan Lonestar Shootout, this match was obviously going to be amazing. Zack Sabre Jr. defending the New Japan World Television Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey. Absolutely phenomenal. And for Rampage, FTR versus Komander and El Hijo del Vikingo. An absolutely contrast style of matches, and especially this last match, a contrast of styles, and it just worked very, very well. And the star of the week, of course, has got to go to Damage Control. Kairi Sane, Io Sky, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Asuka, now the most dominant women's group in the WWE, if they play their cards right, the most dominant women's group in all of professional wrestling. But that's our show. Thank you all for listening, for watching. Don't forget to check out this week on Charismatic Creations, the best of Full Gear matches ever. That will be Tuesday, and this Friday, a new episode of Flashback Friday. Don't forget to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter, and don't forget every Saturday, the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Pearson. I will see you when I see you. Peace.